Guys, sometimes I think I'm a crappy YouTuber. I made a big mistake. Not really a huge mistake, but kind of a mistake in my latest video where I built that TRX4M. Basically, I said I wanted the low-speed gear so I could get like that crawling feel. To be honest, I completely overlooked the fact that you can just put this thing in crawling mode. But after thinking about it, although I missed it, putting low-speed gears is probably better for crawling anyways because it's probably better for your throttle control. And it made me think, guys, I'm at Area RC. This is what it's for. We're going to test it out. Today, we are going to test out whether it's better to put crawling gears or put your TRX4M in crawling mode. See which one works better. My guess, I think crawling gears are better. I think it's going to give you a much smoother and linear feel on your throttle because it's such low speed torque. Whereas the crawling mode is just going to feel really jerky, like it's got a lot of throttle and a full brake, full throttle, full brake. But nonetheless, we are going to find out. This TRX4M is actually broken. I say broken, it didn't really break, but that pin fell out of the drive shaft. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, but this is probably the most common break. Again, not really a break, but the most common problem with TRX4Ms. And then I'll show you the little hack to fix it, which I thought I already hacked this one, but apparently it came out. These TRX4Ms, by the way, they get ran completely ragged. Like non-stop, people are driving these things. I've had these at the RC Super Show. We had them at the Area RC soft opening. Like, no joke, they just get driven the whole time. But basically what happens is, get it out, this right here happens. I'm gonna try to show you, you might not be able to see it, but essentially this is the rear drive shaft. This happens on both drive shafts, but what happens is there's a little pin in there, and that little pin is held in place by an O-ring. And that O-ring over time gets old and it will just break off. You either have to replace the O-ring or do what I'm about to do, which is replace the O-ring and heat shrink it down so it doesn't come out. So this is the little rebuild pack. This is 9754 and it comes with the O-rings and the pins. I lost the pins, so I need to open this pack up. Yeah, the pins are gone. So, well, this comes with a big old metal insert. I like this metal insert better. The little metal barrel. Can you even see that, kind of? We're gonna use a metal barrel, put it in there, put the pin through. God, these things are so little. Pin is all the way through. This is the O-ring that will break. This little O-ring right there. I still have some O-rings left in the pack. So in theory, after you put that O-ring on, it's gonna look, can you see that? Like that. And it should work. However, because we know that O-ring will eventually get old, and this is a truck that will be ran till the wheels fall off, we are going to put a little extra insurance on here, and we're going to put some heat shrink. Basically, have to find big enough heat shrink that will go around this drive shaft. Cut, I would say, about this much off, and then put it around that O-ring. Oh man, it's tight. It is tight. Hold on. A little trick. When your heat shrink won't fit, you get a needle nose, which I do not have here, freaking A. Or if you don't have a needle nose with you, you can just put two tools inside the heat shrink and just stretch it out like so. I'm gonna stretch it just a smidge. I don't want to break it. There we go. Maybe this heat shrink is just a little too big, but it's probably fine. Let me heat this heat shrink up and show you what it looks like when it's all done. All right, I got it shrunk on there. If you're wondering what happened to this crawler, basically it didn't have any rear drive. See, just spinning, just lost the rear drive shaft, that's all. So here's what it looks like after it's all on there. Now, not only is that O-ring never coming out, or hopefully it's never coming out, the heat shrink, even if it gets rotted, the heat shrink should still keep that O-ring on there. Some people just put the heat shrink on directly, which is actually what I did on this one before, but apparently the heat shrink wasn't small enough. I don't know what happened, but it did come out somehow. Come on! There we go. Nice and simple. And there we have it. We have the TRX4M all fixed up. Now, this one has low-speed gears. We're going to take the low-speed gears out and we're going to put the regular gears in, which this is the one that came off my High Trail, which I believe they are the same. I will double check, but the High Trail and the regular TRX4M transmissions, stock transmissions, should be the same. So this will be like running a stock motor with stock gears on crawling mode, and then I have another TRX4M that has the low-speed gears, and we'll compare them to see which one is easier to crawl with. My guess, the low-speed gear one's going to be easier to crawl with, but only time will tell. All right, I double-checked. 9791 is the fully assembled transmission for the High Trail, which is the same as the Bronco. So the High Trail and the non-High Trail TRX4Ms have the same transmission and motor. This should be a stock one. This is the low range transmission assembly. I just put the gears in this one. The gears are super cheap. If you ever want to go low range, that's the way to do it. I love how easy it is to take transmission out of TRX4Ms. All right, guys, we have the light blue Bronco that has the high-speed gears, not the high-speed, the stock gears in crawl mode. So that's how fast the stock TRX4M is. See, as soon as I hit the brake, like, it's skidding. Basically, as soon as I let off throttle, it stops. And it goes in reverse instantly. Now moving on to the low range gears. This is a TRX4M with the low range gears. That is full pin right there. Look how slow that is. I mean, you can kind of see, but Milo's in the way. But yeah, actually, I don't know if we can race them because it's just me, but let's see. There you go. There's how much difference there is. Okay, let's take it on the track and see which one feels better. All right, we're just gonna use a smaller track for now. So I'm barely using any throttle and it's just slowly crawling up. It almost feels like FOC because it has so much low end torque. And that's what I expect out of the low range gears in the TRX4M. And then as soon as I let go, it can stay at that angle because there's just so much torque on those gears. Very easy to drive, very smooth. The throttle curve is very linear. Going to the articulation station here. Oh, so nice. This is what I use in all my demos because it's so easy to drive. And it's very enjoyable to crawl with. All right, moving that one over. Now we're going to try the TRX4M. This is with stock gears in crawl mode. So I'm already applying throttle, it's not moving. I'm having to apply a little more throttle and it kind of just went quickly. And now I'm having to apply, I'm almost half throttle right now. Okay, now it's starting to move. The throttle isn't as linear. And what I mean by that is, like if I give it a little throttle, I'm expecting it to move. But it's not. I have to give it more and more and more. And then as soon as it starts to move, it moves fast. Now it does stop as soon as I let go off, as soon as I let off the throttle. Going down the bridge here, you can see the bridge moving a lot because it moves quickly and then stops. So it's not awful, but I definitely don't feel like it's as easy to drive and as smooth as the low range gears for crawling. So now I'm having to basically I'm having to change my throttle to get it to go over this thing because, see, it kind of went fast. I couldn't get it to go really, really slow without playing with the throttle because there's just not as much low end torque. So in regards to low speed crawling, crawl mode doesn't do it all. Now, if you have something with FOC, it's really not a problem. But because these don't have FOC, I do feel like the low range gears helps for crawling, and it is better than just putting your ESC in crawl mode, because all the ESC in crawl mode is going to do is go and then brake instantly as soon as you let off the throttle. Now it will hold position on an incline, but the throttle curve is just not as smooth. So I don't feel so bad. I forgot about the crawl mode, but the low range gears do feel better. And in regards to, and you can kind of see it over there, in regards to my TRX4M High Trail, it is much better with the 2-speed because I get the best of both worlds. I get that low range gears. Also, I get the normal stock, maybe even high-end gears, but it has some speed and it can crawl, which is really, really nice. Okay, maybe I'm not as bad as I thought.